This aid that Biden was talking about was not allocated to North Carolina. It was allocated towards Florida. And he just said there would be no more additional resources. Of course, they know how bad this looks for them, which is why they try to pose these photo ops. They can't even get it right, though. Oh, my gosh. Oh, but maybe it's plugged into an MP3 player, which is jacked into the plane, and that's how she's talking to FEMA. Or maybe they really just are incompetent women.
They don't have communication. They don't have anything right now. We're trying to. I just spoke to Elon. I'm getting him. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that.
It's literally the good guys versus the bad guys. It's light versus dark. The people that hate these guys are literally hating the heroes of humanity. At this point, it's impossible to deny. Elon Musk is a hero for humanity. Trump is a hero for humanity. He took a bullet to the head, bro. And he's out here doing more than our federal government is doing, while being more respected by the agencies, meaning police, FEMA, the military. As you're seeing, they're literally briefing him in the military. Our government is run by truly weak and competent, feckless people. Kamala nowhere to be found. Trump taking briefings from the military. Listen to that. They're calling him sir. See, this right here, this is the image of masculinity in action. This is what it does. Competently communicating about the problem such that the problem can be solved. And this, guys, this is feminine inadequacy. What the left is pushing. It is only about identity. What they're actually trying to do war with is this here. They're trying to do war with this. Competent men working to solve the problem versus freakish photo ops. Our government is such a failure that two private citizens, albeit hyper-competent private citizens, Elon Musk and Trump, have to partner to fill in for what the government isn't able to do, given their obsession with identity politics, identitarianism, the rejection of ideas that tether them to reality. Because remember, reality is oppression to these people. When he says Elon always comes through, he's right. And that's not what the left wants. Think about that. The left is so incompetent and weak and gutless that they would rather play identity politics games hoping that that will suffice for connecting with reality or representing reality, given their narcissism, thinking that reality should be made in the image of their ideology, rather than having actually effective, competent people affecting things. Elon Musk is effective, but the left hates him. Elon Musk is utterly competent. The left despises him. Elon Musk gets things done and has created what other people could never create. And they're furious with him because he allows free speech where people can call out the fraudulence of the left, and it enrages them. To the point where we see them publicly saying that we need to get rid of free speech, throw away the First Amendment to combat misinformation, which of course is just a propaganda word for anything that they don't like, anything that holds them accountable, anything that calls them out for their degenerate, narcissistic psychopathology.
And anguish over, I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing.
The narcissistic women that can't stand that their cult is being eviscerated online are freaking out.
And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue.
It's so dystopian. Building consensus by silencing people. It's so Orwellian. This is being spoken in America, guys.
Really hard to govern today.
It's so hard to govern people when there's not consensus. We need to get rid of the First Amendment. Think about what you're hearing. This is the left. This is what Hillary Clinton just endorsed.
There's the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact.
We never had referees to determine what a fact is. That's the definition of what a fact is. It's impersonal. It's reflective of reality, not a person or an opinion. There is no referee to objective reality. Reality is the referee. As a matter of fact, the only thing that distances people from objective reality is the left when it says reason, logic, rationality is a construct or some sort of manifestation of a patriarchy, a corrupt tyrannical system. To them, reality and facts are the enemy. But when we call them out using free speech, they lose their minds. They froth at the mouth and demand the removal of the First Amendment because we can call them out as frauds, and we do that, and it enrages them. And these broken, degenerate, narcissistic, feminine personalities can't make arguments. They can't engage in debate or dialogue because they lose, because they're so inferior at interfacing with reality. You're going to see this tomorrow in the interviews I conducted.
Been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go, and that people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And
the World Economic Forum is upset that they can't control what you think.
And you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this.
Dude, they're literally they're nostalgic about the old days of, remember when there were only 3 news channels and we could control what everyone thought at any given time, and we could just make people believe that someone was bad just as a result of saying it. Now we have, free speech and X where, oh my gosh, we can't psyop the population into thinking that Andrew Tate's bad, or that Alex Jones is bad, or that Elon Musk is bad. This is so terrible. This is a threat to democracy. These people are freaks. Total rejects.
And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment.
These people think they should be able to rule over you. They think they should be able to be tyrants because they believe they're better than you. What you're seeing here is confessed narcissism. They think they should be in the driver's seat of controlling the narrative. It's a total rejection of everything that humanity's been built on for the last 400 years, since the Enlightenment, realizing that the individual is the locus of civilization. They don't believe any of that. They don't believe in individuals making up their own minds, because as far as they're concerned, individuals don't exist. This is one of the worst attributes of the left-wing ideology, because it says people only exist if they're a part of their cult. And if they're not a part of their cult, then they don't get person status. That's what you're seeing here. And they fully believe this. They fully think they're better than you. I've spent a lot of time in elite leftist circles back when I was in high school, and you have no idea how much better these people think they are than you. They're broken humans. Deeply broken.
Our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So,
dude, they're saying this out loud. That wasn't AI. This is insane. Listen to that.
Our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So
they are confessing they want to be tyrants. This is the left.
What we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change.
This is who they are. This is what I mean when I say it is now good guys versus bad guys. It's good versus evil, light versus darkness. The people that are still a part of the left today are brainless, weak, unreachable zombies who can only be corrected by us winning and enforcing consequences for their tyranny and psychopathology. Any person that is supporting this is self-evidently mentally lobotomized. And this is the reason why they are at war with masculine, competent men. Meanwhile, Trump's just arrived at an emergency operations center in Georgia to meet with first responders, help coordinate relief efforts. And of course, we see him calling out the incompetent, failed, mentally disabled female who's trying to cosplay as competent, pointing out that her headphone isn't even plugged into anything. Biden's not out here, Kamala's not out here, because just like you saw in that other video of them admitting they think they should be able to govern and supremely rule over you, taking away your First Amendment. They don't think that they need to be around Americans or to help their countrymen in a situation of crisis. Instead, they want to send your money to Ukraine. We just sent another $8 billion to Ukraine while this is going on. Understand that just as they admit they want to eradicate the First Amendment and therefore are enemies with America, they're not helping Americans because they're enemies with America. The people in our government are driven by unfathomable resentment for anything that represents or resembles objective reality, which includes, of course, objective morality, as morality is derivative from reality. Everything they do is in alignment with anti-truth because they are fundamentally warring with reality. Reality judges their ideology as being fraudulent, corrupt, and evil. By November 4th, we will have two sects of the population tremendously defined by independent cognitive and philosophical spaces. One utterly destroyed, wrecked, and resenting any aspect of reality that represents truth, including moral truth. And then the other side, which is essentially doing battle with Satan itself in order to save humanity, preserve reason, preserve freedom, and preserve liberty. It should be no surprise that the resentful, demonic people hate masculinity, hate ultra-competent men, are deformed, are freakishly mentally deformed, weak, resentful, pathetic. And then the other side is defined by competence. It's so interesting to see the dichotomies line up. Ultra-competent masculinity versus incompetent, degenerate, psychopathic femininity. Losers, winners. Marxist capitalists. Fat, in shape. Stupid, high IQ. Evil, good. This is the level of existence that we're on currently. And never before has the left hated humanity like it does right now. I have an absolutely amazing video coming out tomorrow. It was supposed to come out today, but due to issues outside of my control, it will be coming out tomorrow instead. What's never been more clear is that leftists are the enemy, the active enemy of civilization.